stuff because I get calls all the time regarding homeowners associations. I can't tell you how many buyers I call going, I want to see nothing that's in a homeowners association. I don't want to deal with an HOA. And I also get the exact opposite. I don't want anything that's not in an HOA. So there seems to be like a struggle here on whether an HOA is good or not. Hello, Shane Willis, Pensacola real estate expert, bringing you today's episode. Still fighting this, whatever this is, so we still got that deep voice going on. Hopefully this thing's going to clear up. But boy, it got cold yesterday, didn't it? 20 some odd degrees when we woke up. That was crazy. Today's going to be actually a pretty quick one. I just wanted to kind of go over some stuff because I get calls all the time regarding homeowners associations. I can't tell you how many buyers I call going, I want to see nothing that's in a homeowners association. I don't want to deal with an HOA. And I also get the exact opposite. I don't want anything that's not in an HOA. So there seems to be like a struggle here on whether an HOA is good or not. And it really, it kind of depends. I mean, it's obviously been portrayed in films that, you know, you get out there and there's going to be somebody measuring how tall your grass is, and that's against the covenants. And yeah. Okay, I think that's for effect. I'm pretty sure that's for, laughs. Although, I have worked in real estate all over the state, and I do know some places down in Tampa that would be not out of the norm. But around here, we don't see that a whole lot. So I want to just kind of talk about HOAs. Realtor.com came out with an article, and this is what made me think about it. It said, in a nutshell, an HOA helps ensure that a community looks its best and functions smoothly. There's a number of Americans living in HOAs, and it's on the rise. It's actually up to 25% today. So 25% of Americans live in an HOA community. Okay, that's according to the Foundation for Community Association Research. Basically, an HOA is governed by a board. I'm on a couple of boards. Some of my investment properties are in HOAs. And that particular HOA, one that I'm thinking of right now, part of our covenants is we get the yard cut. The Homeowners Association cuts the entire neighborhood, cuts, weed eats, edge, the entire neighborhood multiple times, twice a month for most of the year. Now, the HOA fees over there are only like $300 and some odd a year. So that, to me, just for the yard cut kind of covers it. But we've got a bunch of stuff there. Now, there are some restrictions, and there are some things that, I bring up in Tampa. When I moved down there, we went to go put a fence up, and we went to go put a privacy fence up. We bought a brand new home. And apparently in the covenants, I didn't catch this. The covenants, the back of the fence could not be 6 foot. The maximum height of the back of the fence could only be 4. So it actually literally had to come down, go around, and be able to, comply with those covenant rules. So there are some covenants and restrictions. There's a lot of them around here, and some people don't even know they have one. We had the funniest story. I had a closing, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, and we didn't even know there were restrictions. The seller had no idea there was restrictions because there wasn't an active association, but there are restrictions that there were covenants that went with the property. All right, this was way back in the 70s, when the 60s, I think, is when these covenants were written, but it was all land because there was a company that sold all this land. So they put some they put some covenants in when you bought it. And I think the we were scanning through the covenants because my people wanted to make sure it was okay to have chickens. The sellers had no idea there was covenants, and my people wanted to make sure that, because they had a chicken coop and they do eggs and all the other stuff, and they wanted to make sure it was okay. So we were just scanning this massive document for the words chicken. And I remember looking at the lawyer actually looking at the paper and stopped, and I seen him reread it, and I seen him reread it again. And he pointed it out to me, and he goes, does that statement say what I think it says? And I went, oh my God, yes it does. I'm not quite sure what the sentence was supposed to say, but it read, and again, this was in the 60s and nobody's caught this. It read that in the covenants, no pornographic chickens allowed. I'm not quite sure why we had that epidemic in the 60s, but whatever. And I say all that because there's some crazy stuff in covenants, and you can get them changed, but sometimes it's a bear too. Get them changed. And I'm not quite sure what that was supposed to say. But that's what it said. That's what it read. So they were agreeing to not have any pornographic chickens. Okay. Some of the stuff that a lot of people will look at, though, is they're like, hey, I want to put a boat on my property, or I want to put an RV on my property. And I know of a lot of associations, they don't have a problem with it as long as you put it behind the gate. So some do have a problem with it. So you really do need to read the covenants. And understand in Florida, you're allowed access to those covenants once you go under contract. And you have a few days, depending on what you negotiate, a few days to look over those covenants. If it's a condo, you've got 3 days easy. As a single family, sometimes you can negotiate more or less. But you basically agree to live by these certain rules. I live in an association. I don't have any problems with my association. None. They actually do quite a good job here. There's only 32 properties in this entire community. So we kind of know each other. And it's, it kind of makes sure that the neighborhood you're not going to have parked cars or, working cars in the yard. It kind of helps with the aesthetics, I think. But I understand there's some people that say, I don't want to be told what I can and can't do. You're not. You're reading the rules to begin with. And I think that's the point of all this. You need to understand that. As a buyer, there are some pros to HOAs. There are seriously pros to HOAs. You just need to make sure you know what all the rules are going in. It's like playing a game. Just know what the rules are. If you know what the rules are, you can play the game to win. Anyways, that's all I got for you today. As always, if you've not subscribed to get the tips, tricks, graphs, infographics, get over to 5minutesinrealestate.com. That's 5minutesinrealestate.com. Also, get over to the Facebook page, facebook.com/Shane Willis, the Realtor. Again, giving away some stuff very, very soon. So make sure you like that page. I try and put a little humor in that too. I'm not just going to be blasting, listing for sale, listing. Yeah, I don't do that. That's just not me. Anyways, that's all. Have a great Thursday. Friday's coming.